If you are going to be stuck with diabetes mellitus, if somebody is going to tell you wheat is good, it is not. And now that idea is been forgotten. Initially they thought that wheat is good enough. But yes, there is a difference there. Rice is one thing for which a huge amount of water is being consumed while growing them. So the present agricultural research is very much concentrating on that, how to reduce the consumption of water for rice cultivation. Wheat is not that way. Wheat is totally different. We don't spend huge amount of water to grow wheat. We are not going to talk about it. But I'm going to tell you something which you all know about it. For those who doesn't know, it becomes very useful. Instead of buying ready-made, powder of wheat or atta, maida, whatever. So the difference between the rice and wheat, with respect to glucose, they are the same. With respect to geographical conditions, there are soil which can support only rice to grow. There are soil which can support only. A warm welcome to this program. I am your Dr. CKN. Today I would like to talk about the major grains, rice and wheat. The question here for all of us is, rice and wheat are the same. For a long period of time, people were advised to eat wheat-based food when you are stuck with the glucose imbalance called diabetes mellitus. So instead of rice, you eat wheat. It's good for you. Is that correct? So as far as the carbohydrates are concerned, we have spoken all this in our channel. There is an exclusive program on carbohydrate in English. You can go and watch them. In Tamil also there, you can go and watch them. There are 4 major categories: monosaccharide, disaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide. Saccharide is a Greek word for sugar. Polysaccharide are nothing other than the starch. So we have heard the word called starch materials. So they are also glucose only. Polysaccharide is nothing other than hundreds and thousands of glucose which are having 1-4 and 1-6 glycosidic bonding in a linear chain connected to each other. This is what is our grain. Both rice and wheat are starch material. They are hundreds and thousands of glucose combined, bonded with each other. So I would request you to go. This is a basic biochemistry lesson, which is very clearly explained in our channel for every one of us to understand. After all of us are, go and read food and nutrition part of it in our life. But we should know these basic things. So that is the intention for which many videos have been given. One of the videos is on carbohydrate. I would request you to go and click it and see that in my playlist and get to know more about it. So the difference between the rice and the wheat is, the wheat is having gluten. There is a protein called gliadin, which is called the gluten, which is not there in rice. But as far as the amount of glucose is concerned, rice and wheat are the same. They are not different from one another. So what I would like to, you to understand is, if you are basically a rice eater, stick to rice. If you are basically a wheat eater, stick to wheat. Don't change it. This is one. If you are going to be stuck with diabetes mellitus, if somebody is going to tell you wheat is good, it is not. And now that idea is been forgotten. Initially they thought that wheat is good enough. But yes, there is a difference there. Rice is one which is easily digestible. Wheat takes a little longer time to digest. So what happens when you eat rice? You feel hungry very fast. What happened when you eat wheat? It takes a longer time to digest, so your hunger starts coming in after more number of time compared to rice. This is one of the major part. So if you are if you are suffering from diabetic mellitus, and if you are going to eat rice, we are going to fall hungry very often, very fast. But if you are going to eat wheat, our hunger will go will start setting in little later. This is one of the very important stuff. Now the problem in rice and wheat is one major research has been made. Many research have been made and published also, that because of our chemical fertilizers, which are basically instrumental in our agricultural scenario to get good yield, to make agricultural scenario profitable, to keep the livelihood going on to those who are involved in agriculture, we are finding excess nitrogen and potassium in our grains, both in rice and wheat, which is not good for us. So what is happening here is rice and wheat produced by the agricultural scenario with chemical based fertilizers are becoming one of the major reason for diabetes mellitus. That's why the diabetes, there was literally no diabetes 50 years ago. Hardly 1 in 10 lakh will have before 1975. Today, 5 out of 10 is having diabetes, or 3 out of 10 is having diabetes, which is very, very bad. And once you get stuck with diabetes, then you are in trouble. Then the confusion in food and nutrition starts. What to eat, what not to eat, how much to eat, how much not to eat. It keeps going. Well, can I stay without carbohydrate? All that kind of thing. But rice is one thing for which a huge amount of water is being consumed while growing them. So the present agricultural research is very much concentrating on that, how to reduce the consumption of water for rice cultivation. Wheat is not that way. Wheat is totally different. We don't spend huge amount of water to grow wheat. So now what is very important here is that if you are grown in southern India, for example, since I'm an Indian, I'm talking to the Indian context of it, the geographical part of the Indian peninsula. If we are in the region where rice is grown more, in southern India, even if you want, the soil doesn't support to grow wheat. You cannot do it. So we predominantly grow rice in South India, in all the 4 major states. So if you are born in South India, and if you are lived in South India, it is better for you to stick to rice. Of course, you can have wheat once in a way here and there, no doubt about it. The quick service restaurants, QSRs, like all kinds of sandwiches, burgers and pizzas and all that, they're all basically of maida. So wheat base. So we tend to keep eating them here and there. So consumption of wheat goes on with us. And those who are having a problem with gluten, now gluten allergy has suddenly become in the last 15-20 years in a big way. There are many people are wheat eaters, basically wheat eaters, or suffering from gluten allergy, and gluten allergy is found everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world, gluten allergy is going on. For those, the wheat is not suiting. Now, there are also in videos I have explained about wheat. There's an English video there. There I have explained what is atta, maida and rava and all that. I would like you to go to the playlist and click and see there. We are not going to talk about it. But I'm going to tell you something which you all know about it. For those who doesn't know, it becomes very useful. Instead of buying ready-made, powder of wheat or atta, maida, or whatever, it's always better, to buy the grain wheat and then send it to a flour mill, grind it into powder and bring it. The whole wheat whole wheat grain powder, which is always good. That was what before industrialization we were practicing, and after industrialization, when the machines came, it was separated into atta, maida and rava and all that. So we are more started using the ready-made powder available, so that we don't have the pain to buy the grain, take it to the flour mill and grind it into powder and bring it. But if you see a lot of North Indians in India, they are very clear. They don't buy the ready-made wheat flour from the market, maida, rata and all that. They buy the wheat every month. They sell it to a flour mill and then they grind it into powder and bring it. And this is what is very important. So whole wheat grain powder is always good. Whole wheat grain bread, everything has started coming now. People have realized the importance. So basically the difference between the rice and wheat, with respect to glucose, they are the same. With respect to geographical conditions, there are soil which can support only rice to grow. There are soil which can support only wheat to grow. But there are soil which can grow both wheat and rice, which is available in some parts of North India. So rice is one thing which we have innumerable number of varieties. Which one I should go and have it? Rice, you have raw rice, you have boiled rice. What is raw rice, boiled rice? Raw rice paddy is harvested and then sent to rice mill, cleaned up from their husk and thing, is raw rice. Paddy which is boiled in water, dried and then going into the rice mill to remove the husk, is the boiled rice. Why? Because boiled rice is good for us compared to raw rice. Because the vitamin B series which has in the husk gets transferred to the rice as we boil them. So it's always better to eat boiled rice compared to raw rice. So this information, most of you all will be knowing it, and those who don't know about it, it is always better for you to know about it. As far as the rice and wheat are concerned, these are all the differences. Both are one and the same with respect to glucose part of it. They are linear chain of glucose with amylose and amylose pectin standard. Thank you.